College football week 5 update, the biggest games, must see matchups, and top NFL draft prospects to keep an eye on. The college football season is heading into week 5, and we have some huge matchups this week, but you're also starting to see NFL mock drafts pop up around the net. And while I will be releasing my first of the year soon, it's another big week for college football. After last night's showdown where Virginia upset number 8 ranked Florida State on a last second interception, the stage is set for a huge day across the NCAA. Let's take a quick peek at some of the biggest must see matchups scheduled for today. We have at least one big matchup for all three time slots today. The noon slate features USC versus Illinois, a battle of two top 25 teams, and you can also check out Notre Dame, who has potentially the best running back for the 2026 draft, Jeremiah Love, as they take on Arkansas. The afternoon slate is awesome as well, with number 1 ranked Ohio State traveling to Washington to take on the Huskies, and LSU versus Ole Miss, an SEC showdown. There's a couple of other games like Auburn and Texas A&M and Indiana versus Iowa as well. I'll talk more about these matchups in a minute. The evening slate features two huge showdowns as well. Starting off with number 6 Oregon taking on number 3 Penn State, a Big Ten classic with both teams being ranked in the top 6. But there's also an SEC showdown as well, with Alabama taking on Georgia. This is another big week for college football. Let's quickly talk about the biggest matchups and what draft prospects to keep an eye on. First up is USC taking on Illinois. My pick to watch for the early slate. USC is undefeated, and quarterback Jaden Maiava is looking to take the next step. This roster is filled with talented young receivers, Makai Lemon, Jacoby Lane, and Tanu Hines, the true freshman. But they also have a couple of defensive stars as well, Kamari Ramsey at safety and Braylon Shelby, the defensive end. Illinois' top player is linebacker Gabe Jackas, who is all over the football field. They need Luke Altmaier to play better as well, but they have some underclassmen with talent to keep an eye on. Edge rusher Brian DeMoss is a guy that I want to see develop, a guy with an extremely bright future. Next up for my pick to watch in the afternoon, I'll probably have both of these games on, watching Ohio State versus Washington and checking out this LSU versus Ole Miss game as well. Garrett Nussmeier needs to play better if LSU wants to be serious in their bid for a national championship, but I love edge rusher Harold Perkins Jr. and Patrick Payton. The Florida State transfer has a ton of talent, and this defensive line can get after guys. Ole Miss might be a bit overmatched here, but they have some exciting underclassmen and some hybrid linebacker edge rushers as well, and they could keep this game close. For those who remember last year's draft pick out of Ole Miss, Princely Umanmielen, his brother will now be asked to step up. Prince Will Umanmielen is a guy to keep an eye on. But possibly the game of the week for me is Oregon taking on Penn State. This game will be a showdown. It features a ton of draft eligible talent, especially on the defensive line, where Oregon has Mateo Ugalele, a stud pass rusher, and defensive tackle Bear Alexander to pair with their exciting offense. Penn State has two stud running backs and a lot of talent on the D line as well. Edge Danny Dennis Sutton and defensive tackle Zane Durant carry this front seven. But you also have two talented quarterbacks battling in this one. And both of these teams have legit national championship aspirations. I expect this game to be an absolute showdown. Be sure not to miss this one. My two honorable mention games that I'll also be watching, these games should also be awesome. Ohio State versus Washington features a ton of draft eligible talent. Ohio State has more talented wide receivers than any other team in the nation. It's legit wide receiver university. But they also have Caleb Downs, the best safety prospect in the nation and a potential top 10 pick next year. Washington has the second best running back in the class. Do not overlook Jonah Coleman. And to pair with him, they have stud wide receiver Denzel Boston, the son of former NFL star David Boston. This game should be really fun. And then we all know that Georgia and Alabama always have a ton of draft prospects, and this year is no different. Alabama features left tackle Caden Proctor and edge rusher LT Overton among the best two prospects in the nation. But Georgia has stud defensive tackle Christian Miller and star wide receiver Zachariah Branch, as well as a ton of other draft prospects as well. Honestly, this game with Bama and Georgia might have the most draft eligible prospects of any game this week, a ton of talent to keep an eye on. But it's never too early to look forward to the NFL draft, and I will have Mock Draft 1.0, a way too early version coming soon. But let me know what college football games you'll be watching in a big week of football action. Hit that like button and stay tuned for more year round football coverage.